Marriage, it is often blissful for the first 6 months, and then real life kicks in after the honeymoon fades, and then the hard work begins. What are some of the keys to a successful marriage to help keep the romance going? Joining me at the desk today is Kelly Stickel, lead pastor with My Victory Church, and his lovely and talented bride, Joy-Lynn Stickel, also with My Victory. Thanks for joining me on BCN here, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to be here.
Yep.
Ladies first, how long have you guys been married?
23 years this year.
Wow, does it feel like 23 or
No.
long? No?
No, I feel like
No.
I'm 18, so that doesn't do
Oh.
math. Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
when you look back at the time when you weren't married, it seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
But no, it's been fun.
Yeah.
For the
Kelly,
most part.
how's the marriage really evolved since when you guys first got married to here we are 23 years later?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's evolved in many ways. I think, you go through all the different phases from feelings to pressing through to getting to know one another to the honest conversations, all of that stuff to working together. But we've been blessed. We both came from very solid homes, and both of our parents were in great marriages, so we didn't carry a lot of expectations or baggage in that. But so we came in with a lot of that stuff, and were able to work through a lot of that stuff.
So Joy-Lynn, when you see that there's signs that your marriage may be in trouble a little bit,
Yeah.
because no marriage is perfect,
No.
how do you recognize some of those signs?
I think when you're with someone for a while, then you kind of know if something's off, you feel if something's off. And I think if you notice something's off, for us at least, we have always been very open. We've tried to be communicating a lot with that. And
Never go to bed angry, right?
Well, we try. There's been a few times when I'm just like, no, we're not doing this tonight. So honestly, right?
Yeah.
But no, that's obviously a very good thing to keep in mind. And it's wise to not go to bed angry. But also we've found it's sometimes wise not to hash things out when you're tired. So sometimes we just say, okay, we're going to table this till tomorrow. I like you a lot. Just remember that, and we're going to sleep. And then we'll work it when our brains are fresh.
Kelly, how about for you? What were some of the warning signs when your marriage may potentially be in trouble?
I think one sign that is often overlooked is the joy level in the relationship. So if the Bible says, Nehemiah said it in Nehemiah 8:10 that the joy of the Lord is our strength. So if the joy level and the happiness and that joy level seems to decrease in any way, that's an indication that something's not as strong as it should be. So to me, that's one of those signs. If we're not laughing the same together, and the joy in the home is not the same as it once was, the passion wasn't the same, then something is slipping. Yeah. And so let's jump on it and address it right away.
Now, you guys have kids.
We do. We
How
have
many
6.
Kids? 6 kids.
6 kids, a daughter-in-law, and 2 grandbabies.
Oh, grandkids. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys started really young then.
Yeah, we did.
Right?
We love it. We think we have some energy still to
Yes.
run the race with all the grandbabies too.
Now, do you still have date nights? And how important are date nights?
They're vital. Yes, we do date nights every week, and we've made that a important routine. Pastoring is not a 9 to 5 and then shut it off kind of thing. So there's lots of evenings that are required. So we just decided right from the beginning, and we started pastoring virtually right after we got married.
Yeah.
And so we just decided, no, we're going to make each other a priority at least once a week in a date night, and focus on each other.
Traditional dinner or a movie, or do you guys mix it up with axe throwing?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we like to get out and have dinner together, just so we can have talk without kids hanging off our arms. But we do talk about the kids mostly when we're out there. We try and say, okay, we're not talking about ministry, we're not talking about the kids, and then
we sit there and stare
a
at
little
each
bit
other.
bored. No.
But you're not on your phones, right?
No.
No. We make priority not to be.
How detrimental is that to a marriage?
Oh, totally.
Putting in too much electronics, you're on your phone too much, or
Yeah.
maybe in front of your computer, or even, other electronics?
Yeah, and I think it can be a habit that hurts a lot of relationships for sure. When you're trying to, you're wrecking memories that could be had one-on-one FaceTime by recording memories or by looking at other people's memories and such. So
it's true. Back in the day when we didn't have cell phones, and you know, somebody would call. There's times where you'd let the phone ring when you're in an important conversation. But today, when you get a text comes in, or you know, we're ready to drop everything right now and be distracted from the conversation, and that's really detrimental to good
Aren't there also
communication.
temptations as well when you're online? Maybe an old friend wants to reconnect on a social media avenue like Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe an old girlfriend or an old boyfriend, perhaps. And
Yep. And it's easy to hide that too, right? Like it's not like you're getting a letter in the mail from this old friend that your wife or husband could find. It's easy to hide these secret affairs that could happen online.
right.
Yeah.
How do you rekindle the romance, though? I mean, after 20 years, I mean, date nights are fine, but how else do you rekindle the romance?
Go ahead.
What's the show rated? No, no. It's about setting aside time for one another. It's also about understanding each other's love language, and I love that book. We always come back to it. It's such a great, you know, we can be communicating love and communicating passion, but if the other one's not receiving it in the way that we think we're communicating it, then we're missing. So it's really about investing in the other person, what makes them happy, what communicates love to them, and making sure that you're expressing that in multiple ways. So, you know, little things that we've decided right from the beginning in our marriage was, you know, Joy-Lynn is really, you know, big on physical touch and really big on, so when I leave, I don't leave without saying goodbye and a hug and a kiss. When I come home, I go to her and it's a hug and a kiss right away. And it's the communication that way is just saying, no, hey, you're the most important. I'm going to you. You get kids jumping on you, but you go right to her.
Because you never know, too, you know, that maybe that might be the last hug and kiss you'll ever receive from your spouse.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
could happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I should have hugged and kissed my spouse,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it communicates priorities, right? So I'm excited to see you when I get home.
Yeah.
When I'm, you know, I miss you when I go. It's little things like that. It just keeps things. And then you know, text throughout the day or little sweet nothings here and there or whatever it might be is, just romance.
We still flirt with each other.
Yeah, we still flirt with one another. Yeah, we like that.
I've talked to other couples as well that say another thing you could do with your love language is maybe do the dishes. Or maybe the hubby can make dinner, you know, maybe once a week or twice a week. In the summertime, a lot more.
Yep.
And we've got the barbecue going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If we
it's
want
just
to keep
simple
the
things.
family alive, we do that as little as possible.
Yeah, that's right. Well, but I mean, those are simple
Yeah.
things you can do as well as
Absolutely.
a husband, right? Or
Yeah,
as a wife.
exactly.
Just little things like that.
Yeah, and things, they don't have to be big romantic gestures and going away for the weekend or whatever. And those are fun. Like you said, the date nights are fun, but no, it's all the little things along the way that show that you care and show that you're priority to each other.
How important is it to have something in common? A lot of people say opposites attract, it's better, you know, the yin with the yang, there's proper balance that way. You know, she's an introvert, I'm an extrovert, but we make it work. But I don't know, the older I get, my wife and I have been married for 30 years, I'm thinking having more things in common, similarities, works better, more effectively for a successful marriage. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the longer you are married, the longer, or the more things you do get in common, I think. The more things like we, my husband loves football, and he likes to say that I'm a huge fan of football, but I am a huge fan of him, and so I enjoy sitting down and watching it every once in a while with him.
And his reactions?
Yeah, well,
And the tears that flow? The tears
I like
We won't go
I like
there.
when we're
Depends
winning.
on who's- yeah.
But no, I think it's, you kind of love your person, and so you love what they love. And then there are some times when, like, we've always been in ministry, as he said, and so that's a huge passion beyond a job for both of us. And so that's our life, right? Like our ministry and our family. And so those things are huge commonalities that we share. But as far as hobbies and such like that, we
love the motorcycle. Yeah.
we love the motorcycle, and we enjoy doing things that the other likes to do as well.
Now, you support him in football. What do you support Joy-Lynn with? Maybe some of her passions.
Yeah. Well,
Go to the opera, the ballet.
we watch some movies once in a while. That,
Yes.
yeah, or-
Chick flicks?
Yeah.
He does.
Every once- yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
He doesn't fall asleep, though, does he?
No.
Okay.
No, he's very.
And I try hard not to mock any of them. It's good.
If he's quiet, then it's good.
How about when it comes to kids, making time for yourselves and say, kids, we love you guys, we'll die for you guys, but right now this is mom and dad time.
Yeah, hugely important. And my kids, because we homeschool them, they're home with me all the time, and Dad's home quite a bit too. Just the way he is, he tries to be home as much as he can throughout between the meetings and stuff, and we'll pop into his office and all that. So they get to see him. It's not like they're desperate for both of us by the end of the day because they've seen us throughout the day. So yeah, we don't feel bad about saying, okay, you can go. Even screens are great babysitters every once in a while, where you say, go on your screens and we're going to just sit and talk, and it works sometimes.
Yeah, we try to do a holiday at least once a
Yeah.
year where it's just the two of us.
Yes.
And we do holidays with the family, but we have at least a week where the two of us just go away, and that's important.
How important is respect when it comes to a relationship?
Oh man, it's utmost.
Yeah, it's vital.
I think even respecting who these people are, who your spouse is, and like you had talked about the love languages, and understanding that, okay, my love language is physical touch, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how he's going to feel love, but he knows that that's how I naturally show love. So just kind of respecting who each other is, and understanding that and going with that.
Yeah, I think love is talked about often, but I think respect is not talked about enough. I think it's a vital part of people will focus on love and the feeling of love, but I think respect is the showing of value at another level for each one. And it's always focused on just the men need it, men and women need respect too.
Yeah.
What about forgiveness?
Yes,
Like
it's
some
huge.
some couples go through an affair, other couples go through whatever else, some traumatic experience in their relationship, and the person says, I'll forgive you, but I'll never forget.
And I think forgiveness needs to be separated from trust too. Like that's a whole other issue for sure. But yeah, forgiveness is for yourself. And I think if you're waiting for the other person to need that forgiveness or to ask for that or to reciprocate it, then you're gonna be waiting for a while probably. So I think forgiveness is for your own health.
Yeah, it definitely it's about self, but forgiveness is like Joy-Lynn said is different than trust, and we mix those things up, and I think with the idea that we forgive and forget, I think that's a misnomer as well. I don't think there's certain things that you can't forget, but the ability to forgive is a choice to not hold against the other anymore, and that's freeing for yourself when you forgive your spouse. But that's also freeing for the relationship. So it's vital. We're all human beings. We're all fallible. We're all going to hurt one another. We're all going to make mistakes. So forgiveness is invaluable to a relationship.
When Julie and I first got married in 1990, I was working in radio, and a lot of broadcast journalists, you pay your dues all over Canada. You know, you travel, you go from station to station. But one good thing that we really realized in the early years was that we had to rely on each other and God. We didn't have any outside interference from other family members. As much as we love our moms and our dads, but sometimes, they can interfere, especially when you first get married. So would you give that kind of advice to other couples as well, to maybe kind of distance yourself, maybe create a little separation with maybe some moms and dads?
Yes, I do a lot of premarital counseling, and I advise, especially for newlyweds, when they first get married, is keep a healthy a separation between, parents, and because if we run to our parents with everything that she did wrong, then mom and dad are going to take that resentment, and it's going to create tension in the family. But we dump on mom and dad what she did wrong, but then we don't say, well, we made up and she apologized and all of that. Mom and dad are still walking around with this resentment, and it creates tension. And so be careful whose shoulder you cry on, but also the Bible does say leave and cleave, right? So it does say leave the parents, and so there has to be this healthy separation, saying, hey, I don't need mom and dad like I did before. I'm leaving that necessity in order to focus on our marriage, and she's the most important thing now to me.
And I guess at the same time, if you ever want marital advice from your parents, let's say they're married 30, 40, 50 years, it's kind of cool that you can go talk to them as well, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because chances are they've been down the same road that you guys are going down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But make sure that your spouse is aware that when you're talking to mom and dad that we're having this conversation. This is what we talked about, and so that there's no expectation of tension as well, feeling like, okay, you're dumping on them about me. That makes it awkward as well. So just be honest with one another what the conversation is.
That brings me to secrets.
Yeah.
How dangerous are secrets between couples? Outside of the fact that you don't know what I got you for Father's Day or for your birthday, right?
There are no secrets. She always knows what I'm getting
With presents.
for
like,
presents.
oh,
I'm
man.
like, I can never. She's like, you got me this. Oh.
It's all right. He gets me
It's
what
all
I
good.
want then.
Yeah.
How dangerous, Joy-Lynn? What do you think? Secrets?
Yeah, I
a
think they're
relationship?
hugely dangerous. And I think the fact that you, in the first place, feel like you need to keep a secret is the root of it rather than the secret itself, right? And so if you don't have that trust relationship with your spouse, that you feel like there's a secret that needs to be had, or you feel like that you can't trust them with something, or you're doing something that you shouldn't be and need to keep that secret, then it's hugely damaging.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the separation, I think, between intimacy. Like, intimacy is into me, you, see, and if there's a secret in there that I'm holding, then there's going to be a separation of that intimacy, and there's going to be something that's going to be a space between that's
Yeah.
going to, and you might never, share it or not share it, or you may never know, but there's something that just created a space between that intimacy, and two becoming one, you can't afford that space.
How important is it having Jesus Christ as the foundation to a healthy marriage?
Vital. Yeah, absolutely vital. And I don't know, like, there's times when in our life we're like, we don't understand how people can go through things in life, in family, in marriage without having Jesus. And like Kelly said, we've always had that, and so we're able to, like, we've had that in our families, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, we just feel like everybody needs that.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I totally agree. I think the best analogy that I saw was the picture of a triangle, and the further, the base of the triangle is the furthest separation between there. If God was at the point of the triangle, the closer that we get to God as it goes up the triangle, the closer we get to one another. Mm-hmm. And if one goes up and one doesn't, gets closer to God and one doesn't, there's still a separation in space. But the closer we get to God, the closer we get to one another. So I think He's the center, and that's vital for a healthy marriage.
That's a pyramid scheme I can get behind.
Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely.
Joy-Lynn Stickel, Kelly Stickel with My Victory Church, thanks again for joining us here in studio.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks, Hal.